everybody, let me check my angles here. Forgot the tripod. Okay, you can see the truck. So this is our, what is this? This is an 06 6-liter powerstroke F350. Where's the hood catch? There it is. So, give me this warm under here. Got some problems we've been sorting out in the fuel delivery system. So far, we've replaced fuel pump. I believe there's one in the tank and one under the cab. We replaced the one under the cab, not the one in the tank. We did the blue spring mod up here in the fuel filter housing on top of the engine. And just a couple days ago, we did a test that showed that the FICM, fuel injector control module, the power supply for it is bad, which we think was caused by these batteries died, and this alternator here is not putting out quite the voltage it should, or amperage, something like that. And low voltage or amperage will kill that power supply. So we have back of the truck here. A box. 2 boxes actually. So 2 boxes here. This little one, this is a new, yep, you can see that. This is a new power supply for the truck. Put this on the table over here. Or power supply for the fuel injector control module. This big box, right here, we have a new alternator, a new higher output. I can't remember what it is. I think we'll say on it. We'll find out when we go to install it. So, it is good. Looks to be the same alternator. So let me pick you guys up here. All right, so hop up in the truck. Fuel injector control module, you can see part of it right there poking out from under the coolant reservoir. So we have to pull that and the air intake, all this intake and filters to get to it. And then the other thing is alternator right here, which should be fairly easy. We'll just release the tension on the belt. 4 bolts, a couple connectors on the back, and we'll have that off. So let's get to work. Update. I got the alternator undone, and I dropped a bolt. It's down there somewhere, and it didn't go through. See if we can find it. Oh, I see it. Okay. It's right there. There's so much in here. Everything's hot right now. There we go. There we go. Ooh, this bolt's even pretty hot. So, 3 bolts, all the same. Mount the alternator. We've got, it looks like it's really hot under here. 1 guy right there. Take that off, have that alternator out. All right, guys, alternator's out. It is really hot because I forgot my dad. I'm like, why is this truck so hot? My dad just drove it before I brought it down here to work on it. So, all new alternator. Nice and shiny. This old one's black and stuff back here, which I don't think it should be. So, new alternator. Old one's out. It looks like everything's the same. It's just this one connector here. That connector's different, isn't it? Just a second. 3 pins. 3, oh, never mind. Yep. Okay, that's the same. And then the red wire right there. Power wire goes on it. And then that probably feeds back to either directly back to the battery or through something back to the battery. So we got the alternator out. I think next up we'll pull out that coolant tank and then get everything out and then start putting stuff back together. All right, there's air intake out. That is pretty simple. I took it all in one piece. We found that's kind of the easiest way to do it. Just unplug. I believe this is the mass airflow sensor. Yeah, this doesn't have a MAP sensor. That's a mass airflow sensor. And then right here, this is the air filter life meter. You unplug the connector from the back of this, and then I pulled it out because it gave me just a little more room. and it helps to have taken the two 8mm bolts out of this coolant reservoir. Preferably not when it's hot like I did. I didn't even think about it. Pull one of these lines, because you have pulled this line and it sprayed coolant everywhere. Luckily I didn't get myself, but that wouldn't have been great because this thing's quite warm. So air intake, filter, all the boots, everything out. So you can see it if we just, this coolant tank, I believe, is this pressure, this tank's pressurized. It's that guy right there on top. I think it's just those two bolts and there's a connector on it somewhere. So I'll pull that out and we will get to, well, I think the part is in there, so we end up taking that apart. All right, guys, sorry, no mic for a minute. It's over there, and I'm sitting on top of the engine here. Here's the FICM. There is this strap. Whoops, that strap and those, focus on it, please. That strap and those two bolts, that guy, goes along the back. Those are 8mm, and there's a coolant line that makes it really hard to get to. And then this strap goes on the front here. Two on those front two holes, and one hole goes into this intake line here. So now what I'm trying to work out, it's free. The problem is there's not enough slack to pull it up to see how the connector down here is held. So I'm trying to get enough service sitting here on top of the engine, because I don't want to hop off, to see how people disconnect that. Guys, we got it out. You can see it's, whoops, there's three connectors back there for it. Here they are. You just kind of reach up under, two little clips on each side. Push them in. Whoops, I'm falling, sorry. Push them in, release. They just clip onto these guys here. So here it is. This is actually an international part, not a Ford part. Makes sense. This is an international engine, really. We also, I can't remember why, but we had reason to believe that this has been replaced. I don't remember what it is, but there was a reason for us to believe this has been replaced. So we open this up, and I think right in here, this section, is where that power supply and the little box down there goes. I'm not 100% sure. I think me and my dad are going to do that. And then we'll basically put the thing back together. So we will, ooh, we're down. Put this on the bench for now. Need to clean up the bench. So I guess next step is, let's get this alternator in here. Actually, I'll get the mic on you guys, and then we'll get the alternator in here. All right, guys, that is the new alternator installed. Got the plug on, got this wire on. I think this little standoff thing is just a redirect. I'm gonna look at that because you can only put the wire on either facing backwards or forwards over the alternator. I'm gonna see if I can put it right back on the back where it was on the old one, because I think it won't be interfering with the, which pipe is this? With the one of the turbo lines. I can't remember terminology for turbo right now. I know it's the one that isn't the charge pipe, I believe, but it interferes with it just a little bit. So the next step will be actually popping apart the FICM here. So that is 8 Torx screws. Sorry, it's getting really windy. 8 Torx screws all around, and then this, any problem? This board, this is the power supply for that thing. That goes in there somewhere. I'm just not exactly sure where. And it gives it power. Haha. All right, so on the FICM here, what you do is you take out these, all the screws along this side, those will all come out. Then there's this door here, right there. It's, I believe, two T20 screws, and then you take out these four screws in here, and I believe these are T10s, and I need to go get a T10 to get that, and then it comes apart. So it's very important you don't try to pry this apart without taking those 4 screws out, because if you do, if you get it apart, you'll have broken something. And if you don't get it apart, well, it just won't come apart. So get those out, and then it will separate. So I've got to go find a T10 driver now. All right, guys, all 4 screws out. So now this guy should just Lift right off. Yep. So the that right there is what we're replacing. That right there is very expensive. So we're gonna set this over on this bench. All the benches are very, 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 very dirty right now, with the Volkswagens, the DRs, and everything else going on. So this guy here is what we're replacing. So I believe it's just these 5, probably T20s. Is that right? Yep, T20 screws. So there's this plastic piece and this one through the center of it. They come off, and then, oh, nope, there's more. There's more hidden under these plastic pieces. So let me get those plastic ones off and we'll see what we're working with. All right, guys, I lied. There's actually 7 screws in here. There's one over here and one over here that are buried in glue. So we'll get those out and then it should come out. All right, here we go. We'll now take a look at this new part. Make sure they're both the same. I'll probably have to sit you guys down for a second to get this actually opened. It's a Ziploc. Might be able to do this one-handed. No, I'll be right. Here we go. Let me get it open. I'll have to get it out of the bag. Here we go. There is the new board. Looks the same as the old one, which means it should go right in the same as the old one. Now have the old one go in. Okay, it can only go in one way because there's these 2 little stubs that it sits on. So it goes in this way. Right there like that. So now we put our 7 screws back around the outside, put these plastic caps here back on top, the 4 longer screws for each of them, and then we'll get you guys back here and we'll see everything back up. All right, guys, here she is all put back together. I'm gonna install it in the truck and hopefully get a clip of it starting up and everything working fine. But I am time crunched because I have to have this back together so I can get to work today. So I'm going to slap this thing together and we'll be back when I get that done. All right, guys, after work in the truck, gonna see what she does. Seemed pretty good on the trip here. Give it a minute with those glow plugs. It's starting a whole lot better with the new fuel pump. Sorry you can't see anything. There's the lights. Lights don't work. Won't work then. Do they work now? Nope. Okay, there we go. We got some light. Yep, so let's see what this truck will do now. You guys can't see anything, but you get the idea from the audio here. I can't really see anything either. There we go. It used to be a lot better. There's nowhere to really get it up to any speed around here, legally. So therefore I shan't. Especially driving by the police station on my way home. It's also pretty cold, so that's not going to help it. But not doing bad. I think this might have fixed it, so. Goes pretty good. This thing will do 75, 80 all day, towing a trailer with a Jetta on it. guess that's about it for today's video. We got the truck fixed. No progress on any of the Volkswagens. We're waiting on heads to show up. We've shipped them off. Basically, that's it. Once we get heads, throw some engines together, drop them in, and she will be all set. So yeah, that is it. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that you, if you were having problems with your power stroke, could learn something from it. This is not exactly like step-by-step how to do, but kind of gives you an idea